What's up? It's your boy Bushe Banks, and I'm out here chilling with Silas Beats. This is the Hip Hop Galaxy podcast. This is the second episode, Silas. And on this episode, I wanted to come to Silas Beats' studio.
Yep.
Since he's a super producer in the game. If you don't know, he's produced for the likes of Black Les, P.O. Silas, take it away. Who else have you produced for? You've got some bodies in those credits, dog.
There's people. It doesn't matter though. We'll get into that. I feel like we'll get into that naturally. We'll move into it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Chilling with somebody that's like super duper in the industry that knows what's going on. You not only do mainstream artists, but you do up and coming artists in terms of recording and stuff like that. So I thought you'd be the perfect guy to provide insight into terms of how is the music industry doing in South Africa. You've obviously got the rise of Amapiano. We've got the decline of hip hop. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on, you know, how is the music industry doing in terms of where you see it, and where do you see the gaps? Where do you see the opportunities? What are people doing right? What are people doing wrong? You know?
Look, bro, there's a lot of people recording music now.
Yeah.
Amapiano. I'm getting a lot of guys in here as well. A lot of that happening.
Yeah.
The hip hop guys are still coming through, funnily enough.
But they're not dropping.
They're stockpiling, bruh.
For what?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because it's crazy, because start of the year, I don't know if you know Mlando Challenge.
What's that?
Come on, son. That's where men are busy twerking and shaking their hips to, and I'm up here. It's a crazy dance. You look lost, bro.
I'm lost.
Download TikTok.
I was gonna say, this is a TikTok thing.
At the start of the year,
yeah,
it's a Janos track, dog, and it's beautiful. But I'm like looking at hip hop people, and I'm like, yo, dog, like, where's the music?
But then, okay. So when do we usually drop? I say I mean hip hop. When do we usually drop?
You tell me.
Is it Jan? I feel like the drops usually, like the bigger drops usually start like what, Feb? I still think that, honestly, people are about to drop and like it will pick up again. Sure, Amapiano's doing the most. It's doing a lot more than what hip hop. It's undeniable. But I don't think it's dead. And if we're talking ICU or the state,
I say it's an ICU.
Yeah, if we're talking ICU, it was there. It's been there for a long time.
For real?
Yeah, even before Amapiano, it was the case.
What do you think has caused that, though?
What?
The fact that it's been in ICU.
It's been in ICU for a while now. Yo, bro, we need to think prior to COVID, and that's tough, bro. If I think back, because COVID was 2020, we're looking already at like 2018, 19. It was already looking a little bit bop.
What makes you say that? Because you're on the ground, so you've got a bit of insight.
2018, 19, I was doing even more recording than I'm doing now. And there was a lot of gom.
Yeah.
There was a lot of, I don't know, man. It's just, there wasn't as much collaboration going on. People were still dropping albums. But that there was no, I feel like that unity really does play a part.
Really?
I think it does. As much as hip hop is one of those things where, you know, it's me versus you, you know, I'm trying to kill you on the track, you know, that type of thing. At least we were talking, at least we were engaging, and we were doing that type of thing. 2019, it wasn't the case. We weren't communicating well. 2020, we really weren't communicating well, and then things got even worse with COVID, because then we weren't communicating and we weren't meeting.
So it's a double whammy.
It's a double whammy.
So maybe let's ground the conversation. Let's say I'm a hip hop artist. I'm an aspiring hip hop artist.
Yeah.
I'm making music. I might be recording here. I might be recording at your place. What's kind of the next step? How do I elevate? How do I, you know, get into the industry? Kind of what would you, in a post-COVID world, what would you suggest?
That's actually, it's a good point, man. Post-COVID, I think getting out of the bedroom is probably going to be a good idea. No, bro, we've been stuck.
Yeah.
Look, people have been making music. It's not like people stopped making beats. People stopped recording. We were doing this left, right, and center anyway.
Yeah.
But now people need to get out again. We don't have any more restrictions. We can be out. Well, obviously the mask stuff still, but we can be out now. We can go to events. We can network. We can meet up, and then we can also have mass sessions where we bring people in, bring in randoms, getting people, you know, just collaborating. You know, going back to what we used to do.
So it's more for you. It's you want guys to collaborate more. So you wouldn't social media. What about that? TikTok challenges, stuff like that.
It's full there, bruh. It's a full taxi there on that thing at this point now. Everybody's going there.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to do a challenge, a dance, this thing that
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Land a challenge.
They go check
The
it out.
twerking, the guys twerking.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I'm always for left field. At this point, back then when you were doing Hip Hop Galaxy first round.
Yeah.
Back then, social media was left field.
Yeah.
And going like,
And
what are we
it's-
doing online? What's
yeah.
going on? And now that everybody shifted there, let's go back to the old things. Let's hire out venues and bring people together and have cypher. I don't know what people do anymore. I don't know if people still cypher. But cypher with prepare with
Yeah.
rhymes. They come with their rhymes and
Yeah.
we have that interaction again. I honestly do feel like we need to get out back into the streets and start talking to people. Interacting, man. Collaboration.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
That is super wild. But we were talking off camera, and you mentioned the fact that that's not natural for rappers. They always see themselves in competition.
With other rappers.
Yeah. Kind of speak to that kind of, what would you advise rappers to kind of move? Because it is kind of a competitive, it's not like other genres. There is a bit of competitiveness.
Yeah.
Lyrically and things like that. It's braggadocious. You want to be the best and things like that. And some people feel like, yo, if this guy, I'm not going to work with him.
Yeah.
I want the spotlight on me. So kind of speak to that and kind of like, what should rappers do?
I think we can't take that like competition aspect out of hip hop. That's what hip hop is built on. So what is the main point of the question again?
The main point is how do getting stuck. Rappers are stuck in that mode of kind of being competitive.
Yeah.
And I feel like you've basically touched on it. That's kind of holding people back. The fact that I as a rapper might appeal to a certain type of person, and another rapper might appeal to another type of person. If we collaborate, if we combine instead of trying to compete against each other, we can actually cross-pollinate in terms of fans. So how do we get that started? Because I know that's a good idea, but how would you go about getting that started? Do you just reach out to people on Instagram? I don't know.
I think so. That's too easy now, though.
Yeah.
Like just reaching out to someone, hey, yo, man, let's make a track.
Yeah.
Because you know what the next step then is?
Yeah.
Send me a verse. So then someone else will go record in their bedroom studio.
Yeah.
Someone else records in their bedroom studio.
Yeah.
And music is meant to be sort of like created together. And then we sandwich
Then
this
it's
stuff and then we
vibes.
put it out there and then that's it. But the whole thing of saying, let's get into studio. They'll come hire out a place like this, or they'll go to one of their houses. They sit together, whether they want to smoke a blunt, drink, go out, whatever it is. They
Don't do drugs, kids.
they interact together, and in that that's where the real cross pollination happens. Because while they're chilling together, they'll take pictures, they'll do all of that. Then they'll record. Then they'll be seen in studio together. Okay, what's going on? What's up? And then from there, it's not just the song.
Yeah.
It's the whole experience of everything. They learn from one another. And then in that session, they decide whether or not they want to work with that person again.
Got you.
Then when they come together the second time, they're a bit more friendly. It actually creates a bit more of like a brotherliness. Amapiano is an amazing example. Those guys are together. They're together in the studio. Guys, let's go to whatever. They all hop into the car. They go to whatever event it is. They go to whatever. I've never been in this environment, but I can imagine that's how it is. And them being together, the pictures, and just the sheer fact that someone sees those two together, then the association starts to happen.
Yeah.
So we need to do. I think as rappers, the rappers have also gotten very. They've gotten super independent as well. It's not difficult for them to go download a beat. The process of downloading a beat, going to a store, buying a cheap microphone, getting FL Studio on their computer, doing whatever it is, they can work in isolation. So,
all right. Let's switch gears a little bit because I know a lot of people like focusing on the rappers in terms of when they look at hip hop and they say, hip hop's declined. But I also want to look at the producers because I also feel like they've got a part to play in this.
yeah. Oh man, yeah, yeah.
And you're a producer.
Yeah,
You're a successful
yeah,
producer, as you
yeah.
can see by the studio.
What
that
do you
we-
mean?
If for those, it's not in the shot, but there's a huge like logo of Silas Beats, bro. Just bear that. It's like draped in gold and everything. It's just like money everywhere. But yeah, man,
man.
I was watching a Netflix documentary about the evolution of hip hop, and I think when I compare it to South Africa, I know we're obviously very young,
Yeah.
but the sounds regionally, there's a massive differentiation.
Yeah.
But when when I listen to hip hop in South Africa, it's like producers are not trying to be different. It's more about them trying to blow up. And what's the easiest way to blow up? Well, let's duplicate somebody else's sound.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I want to hear. This is just me, selfishly, right? There's no difference between Joburg hip hop and KZN hip hop.
True.
Western Cape hip hop, Eastern Cape hip hop. It's all trap beats. And with a sprinkling of Kwaito samples.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean,
That's what we've taken as the SA sound now. SA sound is whatever's happening, whatever's hot wherever, and then let's add a little bit of our own
Vernac.
thing. Yeah, Vernac. Whether it be Vernac, whether it be a log drum, that's the other thing that people are doing now. They're taking a hip hop beat, they're going Kwaito, and then they want to be extra. They'll then go Kwaito and then add a log drum on top of that.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, cool. But it's not bad. It is a little bit South African, but we don't have regional sounds. And it really is. I would say that a lot of it does boil down to the producer. And it's not fair to blame it 100% on the artists. Producers, how do I say this without alienating myself?
You're going to get a hate mail.
Hate mail. We've gotten lazy, bruh. We've gotten lazy
Talk
as
about
music
it,
producers,
bruh.
bro. We've gotten lazy because now it's easy for me to. We've got an internet connection here, bro. We'll go on to Splice, or we'll go on to ADSR Sounds or whatever it is. We'll go fetch samples now, and man, it's the tempo is already set. They'll tell you it's 110, and they'll tell you what key it's in. So now you don't even have to. You have everything in front of you. Now all you need to do is go find other samples that are also in A major or A minor. And then if it's at 110, FL Studio is smart. You can tempo match, or you can, tempo fit. And even if you're working at 96, it will tempo fit it and it will sound good still. And that process there, it's a 2-minute process. If you have all the samples and stuff on your computer. With a kick, why are we going far? We'll go to Splice and we'll fetch a sample as well. Load it in there. And you see the FL Studio project is literally a sample on top of a sample on top of a sample. It's mix and match now. And then what happens? We tend to then your sound is dictated from the pack that you've got the thing. I've done it before. I remember.
Do you use the Spinzo 808 as well?
Nah, dude, I don't do those things. No, dude, no. There was a time there was a guy, I remember I bought, it was a Christmas special.
Yeah.
I think I paid $19 and I bought a pack, nah?
Yeah.
But that pack I think it was like 7 or 8 packs. So I got a lot of this guy's sample packs. I got a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
Downloaded onto my computer. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can make so many beats out of this. I was so inspired.
Yeah.
And I started making lots of beats. The beats sounded nice, but they took on a particular sound. And that sound that they took on, even though I was using my own samples and pulling kicks and stuff from my own side, I took on his sound. If you went now and you heard his samples, you'd probably think that he was probably jacking for me because I use so much of his stuff.
Oh, that's crazy.
And we are taking on whoever's sample pack, and there's sample packs being pushed left, right, and center. And we are taking on whatever it is that's in that sample pack because we're too lazy to manipulate. The biggest manipulation we do is we take a song from the 90s or the 80s and we slow it down.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but then, do more to it so that we can create a regional sound. Because if enough of us do it in an area, then we'll say, okay, sharp, then we have a particular sound growing over there.
So you would suggest cats should start getting more into sound design and kind of creating their own drum kits and stuff like that?
Not stay away, because those samples are great. They're such high quality and they sound so good, but just dive a little bit deeper into figuring out how the intricacies of it works. At least in that way, even if you are going to go and use a sample, because I use loops myself, but then chop it up a little bit and then turn it into your own sound. And then the other thing you spoke about now was artists trying to, producers trying to blow up. Because then the artists ask for those beats. They want that beat that sounds like so and so. Then my whole theory goes out the window.
So let me ask you, like, because maybe producers, this is a question for producers and artists in terms of workflow and things like that, right?
Yeah.
You produce for P.O, you produce for Blacklist. What's kind of that process like? Do you kind of make the beats based on kind of how they've rapped before? Is it a collaborative process where they come and say, what do you think? Or is it just driven by them in terms of their idea? Because I'm trying to get to the root of, who should take responsibility for creating these regional sounds and things like that?
Yo, that one is tricky, man. Maybe it's us together.
Is that how you guys work?
We used to.
Really?
We used to work like that. There'd be times where they'd come into studio and I'd play something. And the majority of the beat would be there.
Yeah.
I tend to be like that. I'm not like, I know every producer works differently. Some guys want to sit there with the artist. Yo, man, does it sound dope? And they build the whole thing together.
Yeah.
I can't focus like that. So I would have brought something that's maybe 80% done. Then they're like, hey, man, this sounds dope. And then they'd be like, can you just drive it in that direction? Or I'd get a WhatsApp saying, hey, man, I've got a track. Listen to this track and just pull a little bit of inspiration from it. Whether it means I'm pulling a sample from it or whether I'm pulling a riff from it or whether I'm just, maybe pulling the drums or whatever it is from it and then recreating it. We've still worked together, sort of. We've still worked together in that. What's happening of late, and we're only moving back to that now, but what's happened of late with COVID and everything is I haven't been in contact with them a lot. So it became a lot of, dude, I've got a beat pack here. And there'd be like 30 beats. They'd listen through, be like, that one, and that one.
Ooh,
And then that was it. So there wasn't really a creation of sound and we weren't taking our time working on stuff, which is, again, what we need to get back into. I believe that our best songs came off of us bouncing ideas off of one another.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go back to this point. You're a pretty successful producer. I'm just thinking in terms of artists and producers. We've obviously seen stories last year of, contracts and things like that. Kind of how do you work in that realm of making sure your admin is tight, making sure, because you've never, you don't talk about artists screwing you over and stuff like that.
I do.
What? Does that happen to you? Wait, how?
I've lost money, bruh. I've lost a lot of money. A lot of money,
my
bruh.
word. Okay.
A lot.
God damn, bro. You've never mentioned this.
I have. In places. On my podcast, on my YouTube channel, I feel like I've mentioned it before as well.
Okay, so talk to the people. How do we not lose money? Jeez, you look traumatized, bro.
No, Brad. The thing is, I feel like a lot of people have gone through it.
Okay.
And we don't want to talk about, obviously, the thing hurts, bro. I don't want to talk about
so
how
when Marco was talking about it, you felt his pain?
In some respects, yes.
Okay.
Sometimes the thought is, look, chances are if you got screwed over, you were a part of the reason why you got screwed over. I was dumb.
That's big of you, bro.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't take accountability.
There were situations where I was being dumb. Okay, so speaking to what you were saying, you're talking about contracts, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I think, okay, before we even get into contracts, because already from the beginning, I'll say the times that I've been sort of screwed over has been in the way I conduct my business. So I'll bring someone in and we'll have that thing where we sit together. We're like, hey, man, we're working on the track. Oh, it feels so dope. The track gets made. This track sounds so nice. And then everybody goes their separate ways. We're like, man, no, this track is going to blow up. It's going to blow up. I sit in the corner. I'm like, no, things are going to go well. And then they go off. They put the track out there. They do their own thing. Then it's time for us to talk splits. Like, no, man, I did the splits. Don't worry, we did everything. Now everything's chill, everything's fine.
That's crazy.
And either I didn't get my upfront payment, and I'm not going to get my upfront payment. I'm sure I've probably got in excess of 200K in upfront payments. Meaning someone walks through that door and they're like, I want to record a track. They get into the booth, they record the track, they bounce. and there's no exchange of money. They either disappear, they take the music. I trusted. I was very trusting as well in certain cases.
Okay, so it's not like one particular artist. It's like a collection of artists that are both known, unknown, and stuff like that. Okay.
And that's in an informal. So I'm saying like that thing was a very informal. It was me conducting my business badly. That's what I'm saying. It was my fault. I was conducting my business badly.
Yeah.
Once I tied that up, then there's the whole contract thing.
Yeah.
Where we now need to start talking. And one that I always talk about is one where I had two publishers I was working with. The one was like, we're going to give you an upfront fee. And the other one was like, we're not going to give you an upfront fee. My naive mind, I'm like, man, I want the one with the upfront fee because there's money there. There's more money upfront. And I was like, well, who knows where that other music's going to go. So some years go by, and then I speak to someone, he's just busy. He knows both of the publishers, and he's like, the reason why the one was giving you the upfront fee was because then you forego a particular royalty.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was in the contract.
Young Silas just saw the money and he was like, man, where do I sign?
Exactly.
Oh, shit. That's
Whereas
crazy.
the other one was like, we're not going to give you an upfront fee, but you get those, it was the different types of royalties.
Royalties, right.
So this must have been 2013 when it happened, end of 2013. Now, the revelation only happened, and I only spoke to that guy, it must have been 2018. So many years had passed. And I was wondering why the one where I got the upfront fee, I was getting money, but it was nowhere near what that one who wasn't giving me the upfront fee was. And I didn't know why. And it turns out, I sat there and I was like, look, it's a no-brainer here. Had I just not taken the upfront fee, in the long run, I would have earned more money.
Oof.
Yeah.
How much money do you think you would have earned?
Bro, I don't want to think about that.
Let's talk about it, Doug.
I don't want to think about that.
You know why? You know why I want to. You know why I want to speak about that? Because I think it leads nicely into the next topic. Right. This is a kind of topic that confuses a lot of artists. That there's a lot of confusion around. Right.
It dribbles them. Yeah.
Royalties.
Yeah.
How does that whole thing work? Broadly, and then also in a South African context. I know I saw recently Nota started talking about how his wife got 70K, and I'm like, wow, there's that much money in the stuff.
From what?
From royalties. I think there was
Like
a recent payout of
royalties or-
Samro. I'm not sure about the
Samro?
specifics, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, is that normal in terms of like 70K and things like that, or is that...
Brad,
How easy is this? Maybe basically start and break down the game in terms of royalties and things like
Yeah.
that. Is it like Spotify? Does it work the same way in terms of those streaming numbers? What are the numbers? Is it easier, harder?
it's better in terms of it's way better in terms of numbers. Spotify and basically any distribution platform is a lot more organized. These
Okay.
are like proper companies,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing their thing properly,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
opposed to Samro and the mess that we always hear about them.
Okay, let's talk about that as well. I want you to,
Now, with the issue is that although streaming platforms are organized, the payouts are terrible, horrible. You're earning percentages. You're earning like cents, .000 something per stream.
Yeah.
And the amount of streams there is properly a numbers game. Yeah. And you end up, you get all of these 100,000 and then you have change that doesn't even pay back being in
studio
here and all
time,
of that
the
stuff.
beat,
So it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Where the money then should be is in your royalties. We'll forget about gigs and stuff for now and sponsorships and all of that stuff in terms of your royalties. And the royalty payouts should be a lot higher than they are. But obviously there's an issue with the system, but then there's also an issue with how people sign up and people just
What do you mean the
following
royalty
up.
payments should be higher?
They should be higher in
Talking
terms.
specifically Samro.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I'm talking royalty payments should be
The higher.
generally higher
Than
than
what
what
you
you
get on
get from
Spotify.
streaming
Oh,
platforms.
okay, cool.
Streaming platforms, you'll get, like I'm saying, you'll get 100,000, whatever it is. But if you get 100,000 spins on a radio station,
That's worth more.
it's money there.
Really?
Yeah, you should be getting a decent amount of money from
Okay.
that, as opposed to 100,000. The focus is in the wrong place with the artists. It's just that with Spotify and those people, it's a lot more organized.
and it's easier to kind of play your music and
Exactly.
stuff like that. There's
You can put my music up on Spotify for free, even.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's that whole thing about oh, we don't need radio, we don't need traditional media. It's kind of like it's not necessarily true. You kind of do need it.
It depends on your strategy. If your strategy was always gigs, then gigs is your strategy. Then maybe you don't need radio. I know people who gig. Look, maybe not so much now, but they were gigging and they were getting money. That's how they were getting their money. If royalties is your game, then royalties is your game. You're going to be getting money that way. But if you've got a decent enough online following,
roughly how much do you get per spin? Is it like a standard rate or?
It's not a standard rate. It's not a standard rate.
What is it
really
dependent
does. It depends on the radio station. It depends on the license that they have with Samro. It depends on revenue. So with regards to adverts playing on that radio station, there's a few. So if you go onto the Samro website, they've got the calculations there. It's not the most easy calculation to do. It is, and I sat there and I was like, I mean, I'm not a maths guy.
Yeah.
But I looked at it and I was like, okay, but now if I'm not a maths guy, there's guys out here who haven't finished school, who are musicians, and we're expecting them to figure out how much they're supposed to get paid. There's no ways they're gonna dig the Samro website looking for that information. But I mean, I don't even want to talk on per spin. It will just be bigger on your national. I can say that blanket term.
On your national
radio stations, and like I said, not all radio stations are created equally, and there's some radio stations that won't pay you a cent. So your community stations and those type of stations, they you won't get money there. Then we go on to TV, and then it's the same sort of ball game there. Different station, different broadcasters, different channels are going to pay you out differently. And it changes on a year-to-year basis. There is a very nice document. This document is on the Samro, I think on the portal, where it will tell you how much you'll earn per second, if I'm not mistaken, per second, per channel that your music is played.
Oh, wow.
And there, even when I sit down and I do a rough calculation is not that bad. It's a couple of, let me remember now, for like a 5-minute track. I must pull it up actually, but it's like a couple of rands. It might actually be more. It should be more, like 30 or so rands.
How often are these payments made?
They work in, so from Samro specifically for the performance royalty, it goes in seasons. So there'll be a payout for radio play. There'll be a payout for
and that's
TV
once
stuff,
a year
and that'll be once a year.
Oh.
There'll be other they call them post distributions or something along that line.
Yeah.
But it's basically them covering for any shortfalls or any sort of money that might not have, made it to that particular distribution. And that speaks to your thing now, is you said something about the Nota's wife or something and earning that. So how likely is it that something like that happens? Not very. I haven't seen it happen a lot.
Yeah, listen, I haven't verified. I saw it in a tweet.
Okay.
It's not me.
So it's but still, like that type of situation, I have heard of situations where it does happen. And I can think of a very easy example where someone's music might be playing in a different country and that information might not have made its way from their version of Samro to our Samro. And then there's backlog. And you find that there's one payout that's large. Or you find that after doing some digging, you're like, man, but I'm seeing my track is playing a lot on this radio station.
Yeah.
And they haven't paid you for quite some time.
Yeah.
And it might be a technical issue. There might be an issue with the administration. They spelled the name wrong. They got the number wrong. Somehow that money is just sitting somewhere in undocumented works. That Capasso has undocumented works list that you can go through. Samro also has an undocumented work list that you can go through. And you go through there and you check it out. And you're like, oh, snap, there's my song there. Update the information. And then from there, you should then be paid retrospectively. If I'm not mistaken, it's 3 years or is it 5 years? But you get paid retrospectively.
Oh, okay.
So then at that point, you might then get a little bit of a...
I always had the assumption that royalties don't pay that well. But like kind of speaking to you, there's a lot of money in it, right?
And it's... It might not only be through your commercial music, it might also be through your library music.
So syncing, on shows and things like that.
Sync one track and you will see.
Get it on like a reality show or something.
Your reality shows are the best.
How would you go about doing that?
You can do it yourself. Most people do it themselves.
What do you mean do it yourself?
You know a friend at whatever.
At MTV.
Yeah, you go to them. Hey, man, I've got these beats. Don't worry, I'll help you. it's shady because now you'll get these wonky contracts, or they'll be like, don't worry, my boy, you'll get paid. The money's coming.
Yeah.
That time, nothing has been set up for you. But I think the best way is to work through a music publisher.
Do you have any recommended ones?
Yeah, bruh, it's there. Google search away, bruh. So you get.
I was speaking for the people that just want your kind of guidance, because you can Google, but sometimes you can Google shady things.
Yeah. Look, if someone goes to the Capasso website,
They've got a recommended.
they actually do.
Okay.
They've got their rate card. The rate card is free. It's on the website. You download the rate card. It's a PDF, and you page to the end. It's a PDF. So you're going to swipe all the way to the end, get to the end, and it's got them all listed there.
Yeah.
That's the first place where I found them all. So I started contacting them, phoning them, emailing them. This is in 2013. I had meetings with some of them.
Hey,
some of their deals were garbage. What's that? What's going on?
You saying 2013? I'm just doing a quick calculation. I'm counting the pockets there. I'm like, hey, bro, this guy. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, so some of the deals, I looked at the contract and I was like, the one guy was like, okay, cool. So if you're going to work with my publishing company, then you work exclusively for me. I was
That's
like, whoa,
wild.
hold on. So any music I make for TV needs to come through. Is like any music you make,
Oh, wow.
whether or not it's for a rapper or whatever, is going to push through this company.
Yeah.
So I was like, so what if I then contact so-and-so and I want to work with them? It will work through the company. I was like, nah, I don't want to do that.
What are the benefits of that? Because what benefits is he offering? Such exclusivity.
Exclusivity, the first benefit that should definitely be there is that they're going to take care of a lot of the administrative stuff.
Okay.
So they're going to be hunting down any royalties that are owed to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's really the only other, the biggest thing I can think of. The other benefits would then be continually shopping your music out there.
Which is a massive one, right? Yeah.
And then
Because you won't have
searching
the
for-
time to do that.
Exactly. And then
Okay.
searching for collaborations. If it's a really good publisher,
Yeah.
they'll do what they call relationship management. So
Yeah.
they'll go and find a rapper or find someone
that's
who
wild.
or producer, and then it's rare though. I haven't seen any publishers here in SA that do that. This is all like in an ideal situation. But for the most part, if your publisher just knows how to get your music out there, and then collect on it,
Okay.
yeah, then you save a lot. But you can make a lot. Look, bruh, like it's not. I'm not gonna say it's not millions. You're not gonna like it's.
But you can live off it.
You can, and if you like I was saying, it's all got to do with your strategy. If your strategy is right, you definitely can, over an amount of years, earn a good amount of money. I've seen that from that time up to now. Look, it's done this in terms of how it's gone up and down, but it definitely has picked up because a reality show in where's the common place where they use my music? Kenya. They will pick up the music, but it could have been a beat that I made in 2014 or 2015.
Sure. Yeah.
So
It's
you
like
can
an
imagine
asset, yeah.
once we get to 2030, if the catalog is bigger,
Yeah.
surely there's going to be music that people are going to be going back for. I don't know what the industry is going to look like, but
Yeah.
there's going to be a huge catalog of music, and it builds. Whereas with say a normal rap song or commercial song, there's that initial, and then it goes
Down.
and then we're done.
I remember Vince Staples talking about that, how he specifically targeted getting in movies and things like that, and he's made a lot more money doing that. Yeah, that's just
Money, bruh. Spotify, bruh. There's nothing wrong with those guys. There's nothing wrong. You're on those things as well.
What do you mean I'm one of those things?
Don't you have an account?
No.
Really?
Just keep that on the low, dog. There's plans coming out for that.
Right.
Keep that on the low.
How's it been for you though?
With what?
With your product, like getting your music. We had a conversation about like just being heard.
It's a complicated question.
Answer, bro.
It's a very complicated question. Like you said, everybody's doing everything. Like this, it's about attention, right? It's about getting that attention. How you get that attention, it's about consistency as well, dropping music and things like that. But these are things that you know as well in terms of trying to blow up. But I find it would take a lot, for a musician to blow up because you have to do all of these things. I kind of find it's difficult just in my opinion, it would be difficult for an artist to blow up alone. You'd almost need a team because you need to do the content marketing, you need to do the recording, you need to do the promotions, you need to now get onto radio, you need to book gigs and things like that. So,
do you think it's possible though to do it?
I think you can get to a certain stage, but
Yeah.
there's a stage where you kind of need some help to get to the next level. I don't know. That's my perspective, right? I don't know what your perspective is because you record a lot of guys here. You've seen different strategies and things like that.
I do, but I've never been in it.
Or you've never pushed with
I've
an
never
artist.
actually sat with an artist and said, we are going to attempt to make you blow up.
Really?
I've always just worked on a consultation basis.
Yeah.
So my insight is one of, I've seen what someone's done, but I actually haven't been in the trenches with anybody.
Doing it.
Yeah, so that's why I'm curious whether it's actually possible. Because the ones that I've seen that have done it
Yeah.
have always had someone around them. They've had
Yeah.
a friend or two or someone who knows someone somehow, or they've had a manager that assists them. So as much as I love independence, I don't know how far that gets a person.
I don't think it gets them. It gets them to a point, but I think you need intervention. And that kind of brings me to my next point. I think also because of the way hip hop is, right? And the genre that it is, and it thrives on culture and things like that. We don't have that many platforms in South Africa kind of showcasing that. Sure, we've got Slicker, we've got a couple of podcasts, but the focus is on gossip. It's not really on the music. That's just my opinion. And kind of, what do you feel about that? What are the comments that you hear when guys come and record? I mean, because after they shoot their music and they do the music video, kind of what do they do?
Oh, bro, it's a very sad process, bro. They record, they spend cash recording, mixing, mastering. They get their artwork done. They pay a radio plugger. Then they make their video. After the video, it's kind of like, what's next? Because then they'll push it. They'll be like, wow, what do I do next? I want to get it onto MTV Base, whatever. It's tough for them. They don't get it on there. And if they do, it's, graveyard show or whatever. So they're not really getting much. And then it kind of dies there, bro. That's it. It's sad. It's sad to see. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Sure. But I think in terms of the platform, I think that's a lot. I've spoken to you about the plans. That's kind of where I want to take it now.
To have like
a platform to kind of showcase people, up and coming people that are kind of.
What would people gain from that platform?
Gain attention.
So you would build attention on your platform and then make it available to.
Sort of like a curator.
Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of showcase people and things like that.
Do you think that that's something that people want to see? Okay, so if we break down the different types of content we get, right? So you've got this platform where they can either perform or whatever it is, the music itself, right? Then we've got the educational stuff, that type of stuff, informative stuff, sort of what we're doing now. And then we've also got the gossip stuff.
Yeah. Look, the gossip stuff has its place, bro. Because it's about the culture for me. That's why I like Amapiano, but because it hits like a different part of your soul and stuff like that. It's a different type of music, right? But I like hip hop because of the culture, because of the story behind it and things like that. I don't think there are platforms that are capturing that.
For
that
us
story.
here in SA. Yeah. Actually, that would actually be pretty dope because now what it does is then it inspires other people who are living that same culture to continue doing what they're doing. So if there's someone from the Eastern Cape and they say, man, but that person is over there now and they're doing this, this and that, and they've kept to their sound, that might be a little bit more of an inspiration for them as opposed to seeing a cookie cutter version of a Joburg rap artist. You know exactly what I'm talking about. A Joburg rap artist. From the north. You know exactly, yeah. You're like, okay, no, so if that's what it takes to get there, I need to do...
Fake the funk.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah. I guess that probably also speaks to why we don't have regional sounds. Everybody's trying to fit in that box.
People don't benefit from it.
Yeah.
We know how it is. I don't know if it's like this. I'm sure it's like this all over the world. But if people aren't benefiting from remaining authentic, why should they do it? It's the same with the music producers.
Yeah.
If I'm making gang sales because I'm taking the loops and I'm just popping the loops there, am I not going to keep on going?
It's hard to argue with that
I
logic.
mean, come on, man, come on. If I'm getting the placements, if I'm getting the the accolades and stuff, and I've seen them on Instagram, I'm just like, wow, it sounds like a loop. And I know you probably didn't work on it. It's like
they're literally people. I've heard that in mainstream songs. I've been like, that's a fucking loop. You didn't even do anything to it.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because when you go to their IG, they are popping. They've got accolades. They've got accolades. They've got tracks with so and so and the other one, the other. They've got they are verified. Therefore, whatever it is that they're doing, surely is right on some level. So who are you?
Let's talk about it because we're going there.
Yeah,
right. Producers using loops.
I knew we were going. I knew we'd end up here. It does this, and then we end up at it.
How do you feel, bro? Are you one of those Nazis that'll be like, nah, bro, if you ain't playing it, if you ain't punching it in,
it ain't real.
Get that out of here, dog. Or you like, yo, bro, this is off. Hip hop is off sampling. So there's nothing wrong with doing it. Where do you stand, bro?
I'm more towards that, to be honest.
Really?
I am. I have that thing where I'm like, I believe understand it. Understand how, if you're going to use a loop, understand how the loop got to where it got to.
Okay.
So that you can manipulate it even further.
Yeah.
But this is how it was. Back in the day, they were being chastised for the same thing. They were like, but that song already exists. You can't just chop out 2 seconds and then add it. People were doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the exact same thing is happening now. I can't do the same thing people were doing to us. I'm not that old, but the people were doing to those people back then. So I kind of have to let it live. But at the same time, I see what it does to the genre itself. It makes the genre less, there's less room for nuance. Because if I'm sitting there and I'm plotting the kicks myself and I'm plotting the claps myself, I've got more chance of human error. And human error leads to creativity, I believe. And that creativity then leads to the sound. That then leads to the next thing. I'm sure for a Timberland who probably didn't have the bass line, he's like, let me hum it myself. He was able to, now it's too easy. I'll just go get the Timberland sounding bass line off of wherever and then plonk it over there. And we end up there. And it's not the first time, actually. I don't know if you've heard of EJ.
EJ with the rapper?
No, man. No. Not EJ the rapper.
Oh.
EJ the program.
No.
Yeah, so I'm guessing it stood for electronic DJ or whatever, but it was a tile-based program where you'd have a normal screen.
Oh, shit. I think I remember. Yeah.
You'd pull the drum.
Yeah.
And then you would pull the whatever. You can change the tempo. It would automatically change it.
Oh, those type of programs.
Yeah,
you're just basically arranging.
You're arranging, yeah. So that's what's happening now. These producers who are producing are effectively arranging with a few tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
So if that was happening back then, and then that started to sound a bit cheap, it sounded terrible. The beat sounded horrible.
I remember when I started making beats, that's what I did.
Just arranging, and you're like, no, it's dope. Even when we sit down and we have our sessions and we're listening to other producers produce, I'm like, there's no way you started making beats 3 months ago and you understand how LFOs work. You understand how pitch shift works. You understand how, the reversing of the sample and then things that took me such a long time to learn.
Yeah.
There's no way you know all of the stuff now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I know it, but it doesn't really matter. Because the person who's walking past will be like, man, that sounds hard, man. I'm going to follow them.
But it's so crazy, right? Producers should actually go back. You mentioned Timberland. Timberland sampled, Doug.
A lot.
Yeah, Big Pimping.
Bro, all of his big tracks, name any of them.
Yeah, but he would take a teaspoon Click it in, microphone. So kind of my sort of view on it is kind of use both.
You see there's appreciation for the art. Sampling is an art. We understand that.
Yeah.
Then being able to take that sampling and then bring in your own elements. Bring in baby sounds, bring in frogs, bring in all that stuff that he did for all of his tracks. Because then you make, not only do you make hits, I want to say something controversial. Not only do you make hits, but you make hits that are going to last a long time. Which then brings me to the next point, TikTok.
Okay,
and these challenges that have come about.
Okay, let's talk about it because I can already sense that me and you are on opposite sides of the fence, right?
So with TikTok.
So let's frame it, right?
Yeah.
TikTok is currently one of the biggest apps in the world, right?
Yep.
And apps work on attention.
Yep.
And as an artist, you want attention, right?
Yeah.
The phenomenon of TikTok is not new. I think music evolves. I think the way that we get music, I think we have to be open to change.
Yeah.
I think we have to move with the times. You spoke about community. I think TikTok fosters community. I think the algorithm is amazing. So basically what I'm trying to say is I love TikTok.
You love the platform.
I love the platform.
Okay.
Because you can get exactly what you want when you want it. That algorithm just caters to what you want. So I think it's, as an artist, you can find your audience easily and they can find you. That's why I love TikTok as opposed to your Instagrams or whatever. But chat your chat, bro. How do you feel about TikTok?
How do I feel about TikTok? So when I said let's talk about TikTok, I didn't mean the I'm okay with the platform.
Okay.
It's the music is what.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about it. So let's talk. What's the name of this track? Is his name Astro? Astronauts in the Ocean.
Okay.
You know that song?
I haven't heard it.
What you know about?
Oh, okay.
You see,
Yeah,
I didn't even have you see, but right?
Yeah.
Right. So we've got that track, right?
Yeah.
And you've got this song that
It's
is
also passe. Passe.
You see, you've got these songs, and people make challenges to them, which is dope.
Yeah.
Right. And then the challenge happens, then the song becomes even bigger, right?
Yeah.
Like now they've got this Infinity song,
Yeah.
with the ring light, right?
Yeah.
The song becomes huge. So much so that it forces its way onto radio, right?
Yeah.
And then you hear the very same song, but now you hear the whole thing, the whole song, and you're like that Buster track, the Buster track is whack, bro. It's terrible. It's like
Sorry,
it's
I'm
like,
allergic to bullshit. That's why. Continue.
So this Buster track is garbage because it's like I'm like, there's nothing here really.
But
wait,
silent.
hold on,
Okay.
wait. I'm circling around to my point now. We've got a track like that. We've got these tracks, right? That are just, you can see that the track was made for the enjoyment of a challenge, full stop.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back, same platform.
Yeah.
And let's go to another challenge.
Okay.
Let's go to the one where they used Busta Rhymes when he was rapping that short part of Touch It.
Yeah.
You know that one where they do that challenge where then afterwards they bring in that beat that do, and people are changing clothes or whatever it is. Yeah. Something like that. When did Touch It come out?
Sure, bro.
2000 and?
I don't even remember.
4, 5? I don't even know for sure, but it was back then, right?
Yeah.
A track that was that big back then is still being remodeled and then used now. For me, epitomizes what people mean by a timeless song. There's other songs that are also timeless that have now re-emerged. And it's funny because those songs have also now made their way back onto radio. So in terms of the making of the music, sure, you can make it for the platform for now, for TikTok. But then we know how long those challenges last. They fade and then we are done.
Okay.
But the music is not going to... Right? Do you remember Panda?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, right?
I do.
Right?
I do.
Exactly. I rest my case.
Okay, you've rested your case.
For now.
So I'm gonna start off by saying what you said was cap, dog.
Is this why you were sneezing for
Bro,
real?
yeah. Music is subjective, dude.
It is.
It's very subjective, dude. Music is about community. It's about making memories. It's about having fun, right? Not all music is gonna be this deep political thing. It's gonna be
Who
this
said that,
thing
though?
with strings and.
Who said that?
Remember Crank That?
Yeah,
Crank
yeah,
That?
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
the challenge?
Okay,
You,
okay. Yeah.
If you play that
It
now,
wasn't a challenge, it was a dance.
it was a dance.
It was a dance.
But this is what we've always done from the 50s to now.
But doesn't
There's
it feel?
always
Doesn't it
dances.
feel? Doesn't it feel
Let's do
fast?
the twist.
Doesn't it feel fast like the way we move through them now?
It very may well be, but that's because we're more connected now.
But then, how does that like? Is that good?
Yes, it's good. It gets people to experience music. There's different. We need to create lanes for different types of music. That's always been my chat. I hate this thing when people say that's not real hip hop. No, bro.
No one's saying it's not.
But you're saying for me, right? People have been saying TikTok is the new MTV. Because
Okay.
if your song makes it there, you're gone, dog. You're gone.
Gone where?
You're gone in terms of your success. Your
Okay, I don't believe that, but carry on. Yeah.
okay,
That's
you're
cap.
gonna get your 15 minutes, right?
Yes, you'll get your
15
15, maybe
minutes.
10. Okay, cool.
You can
yeah.
kind of capitalize on that,
If
right?
you're
You can
smart,
do your
yeah.
merch, you can do your whatever, you can get on different shows. So I think it gives everybody a shot, dog. It
does.
It democratizes music. It gives everybody a shot. It means I can compete with a big artist now. If I have
Yeah.
that one thing that hits,
Yeah.
listen, we gone. We that's what I love about hip hop, right? Look at Lil Nas X. Old Town Road. TikTok challenge.
Did it start out as a
TikTok?
TikTok? Nah, dude. That song blew up on SoundCloud first. That song blew up on SoundCloud first.
Yeah, okay, whatever, right? But there are many other examples.
There are many examples, and I believe I love TikTok for that.
But from what I'm hearing you say, it's that you feel like the quality of music is
Yes.
deteriorating because people are making songs for TikTok, specifically for TikTok.
For TikTok.
And that's why I need to fight you.
Okay,
Because
Shaz,
it's all subjective.
okay, fine. People can make their music, no?
Yeah.
and it's okay. I don't want to be one to say
Because
okay,
then now
fine.
you're going to be a Nazi. And
That's
and
the thing.
dictate.
Yeah, I realize where it looks like it's going. But the point I was trying to make, and the reason why I reference such an old track,
Yeah.
is to say that if we look past that just a little bit, and someone wants to make something for the long term, they want to make something.
What does that even mean?
You do this cookie cutter music. There's these things that we're experiencing now. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
30-year-olds in a party and you play Crank That, they'll go crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I'll be there
music.
with them.
That's timeless music.
I'll
At
be
that
there
time,
with them.
you remember what people were
Yes,
saying?
yes.
Do you remember?
What? That it was stupid.
This is stupid.
Yes, it
How
was
can you
stupid.
crank
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Or whatever. It's going to be the same thing. This TikTok generation.
Yes.
Take it 10 years. When you
Yes.
play Bust It,
But
when you
the
play What You Know
longevity
About
of it,
Rolling.
while Crank That was
Oh,
happening.
the cycle.
Yeah, the cycle of it.
Yeah.
That for me, it feels a little bit unhealthy.
No, then that's music, dude. The cycles are shorter, dog. Like that's just in general. You
But
know
okay,
that.
okay, sharp. And you can say that because now you're speaking from a listener's point of view. Now I'm going to bring it back. Let's talk about it from an artist's perspective.
That's
and a
what I'm saying,
producer's
bro. You
perspective.
signed up for the life, dog.
No, wait. As an artist, now you are forced to play to the cycle,
You're
right?
not necessarily forced.
Uh-huh.
You can choose.
If you want to blow up.
That's the thing. If you want to blow up,
Okay, sharp.
yes.
For someone who wants to, they want to push themselves from being a nobody
Yeah.
to being a little bit more of a somebody. Maybe not huge.
Yeah.
But for them to move from 0 to 1,
Yeah.
their cycle is going to be different. You can't be at 0 and come up with a really nice, well thought out project.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of songs that you think are going to do well this year. That's too long. A year, never. So you have to succumb to the cycle that you're talking about.
You don't have to.
To do that, wait. You succumb to that cycle, and now you're churning out a lot more music.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
I feel as though, in terms of beats and stuff now, I don't have to change what I'm doing because I feel as though I've got a few people that come to me. They're already at my door and they're knocking,
Specifically
right?
for
They're
that,
already
yeah.
specifically looking for a certain thing. So I don't feel that. But I feel bad for those people because what happens in these doors is between me and the artist, right? They'll come through, they'll pay me for the music. We work on whatever, whether we believe it's timeless, whether we believe it's the next banger, it doesn't matter. We work on it here, they pay me, I'm good. The artist, unfortunately, walks out there with it, posts it. The song goes like that. And then they're back in here having to do the same thing again. And I'm like, guys, look, what is your next step?
Speaking from that perspective.
That's what I'm saying from our perspective. It's nice because the consumer, we getting music We get to enjoy. We get to enjoy the next dance. We get to enjoy the next challenge. It's dope. But what about the people on the back end creating this stuff? They are being rinsed, bro. We are being rinsed. Creatively, we're being rinsed. What happens when we get rinsed creatively? Sample loops.
Just to turn out the volume.
Exact. Because now I'm working for volume. Because now there's people coming through the door. They're like, yo, man, did you have a track that sounds like that Infinity track?
I've heard of that. Hey, where producers get mad and people are like, yo, I make 10 beats a day. And they're like, how? It's like, nah, I'm looping shit.
Yeah. And it works. I'm not disputing that it works and it's working for now. But is it
sustainable?
It doesn't feel like it's something that is
creative and
it's sustainable. It's gonna work.
It's manufactured.
Look, I don't know about that, man. I don't know. I feel like at some point the cards fall.
Let's end the point by saying,
yeah,
I feel like you don't have to go that TikTok route, but it's good to know it's there.
Yes.
If you're an artist, you're gonna find your people, right? It's gonna take you a little bit longer, yes, but you have to bear that. You know, you can't have everything. So that's just my opinion.
I agree with your opinion. We're gonna fight, and I like this. I like that we're gonna fight. But I agree with your opinion.
Okay, let's take it back to the rappers, right? Like let's say, you know, I'm a rapper, I want to release tracks and stuff like that. I know this is a concept that confuses a lot of people, right? Beats. Can you explain the difference between non-exclusive, exclusives, you know, kind of what you do? Because you sell beats, right? Can you explain that difference? And kind of what would you advise a rapper that, you know, is just starting out to do? What would you advise a rapper that maybe wants to take it to the next level to do? What would you advise a rapper that wants to get into like the mainstream to do in terms of beats and things like that?
Okay. Just before we do that, so I'm gonna mess things up here a little bit. Get me some water.
Ad break.
It's true.
Somebody put in the boo-doo-doo.
You want some? Are you good?
Yeah.
Good sponsors, man. Good sponsor.
I thought it would say Silas Beats.
Nah, dude. I can't do everything. Can't do everything. Yeah. So you're saying the difference between
leases,
exclusive,
buying a beat, the rights, what I'm entitled to, what if it blows up? Because, you know, I make beats, right? So somebody
you do?
So somebody asked me, yo, how much do you charge? And I kind of gave them a breakdown. If you want a lease, it's this much. It's not exclusive. And they were like, huh?
Okay.
So break it down in terms of that whole thing.
Beat
right?
leases.
Yeah.
Yo, bruh, beat leases are confusing in that people call beat leases different things. So if you go into a platform like BeatStars or, I don't know,
That's
Airbit,
a gem right there. If you're a rapper, go into BeatStars.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. And there's a lot of free beats there as well, actually. So, okay, let's talk about that. So we've got your free beats, which they'll then specify. It's free for profit. You're allowed to create music. They'll usually use that term, free for profit. I don't know where, but the past 2 or so years, it's become more of a thing.
Yeah.
Free for profit, or they'll say it's free for non-commercial use, in which case, you know, basically don't try and put it out there and make money off of it.
What's the thinking behind a free for profit beat? Why would a
Free for
producer?
profit?
Yeah, why would a producer release a beat for free?
Exposure.
Okay.
Yeah. I put out a beat tape at the end of last year for the very
So
same
you
reason.
want rappers to jump on your beat?
And treat it like an actual track. Release the track so that people can ask them, you know, this is dope music. Who made this beat?
Okay.
So that they come back. I'm basically sending out my street team. You know, they're making their mixtape tracks or even their album
But then
tracks.
you said for non-commercial use, so that means
No, for commercial use.
For commercial
so
use.
with my beats, it's for profit. Any free beat that I give out is for profit.
So free for profit means I can.
You can go and make profit on this thing. You can go and perform it if you want to and make your money. It's fine. Go make your money.
Yeah.
If you want to do royalties and stuff, for the most part, I am okay with it because over what the past 8 to 10 years has shown me is that
You're about to get a lot more downloads.
yeah, no, that's chilled. What the past has shown me is that when someone really wants to step in and make a proper, like, we are working on a track for your album,
Yeah.
they will come back and then they'll spend the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not worried in terms
So
of that.
producers should not be greedy and like want money up front. You
Exactly.
recommend giving it out for free, you know. Because
Beat tapes
essentially
on
if
beat
somebody
tapes.
takes the song and they blow up with the song, they're gonna want to come back to you, right?
Yeah. You are now you are their hit god. You are you are the person that they go to. I need a hit. I go to that person there, and then other people will
And
go.
you put
as
your
well.
tag in there the first. That Silas Beats.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay.
So then
cool.
other people are definitely gonna come.
So
through.
that's free royalties they can earn. I'm assuming what's the royalty split on those free ones?
So the royalty split on that one, I tell people that, look, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, because I know they're going to be putting in a lot of their money, a lot of their resources,
Yeah.
and they might not have a lot of that, I'll then say, look, if you're going to give me 10%, give me 10%. But I usually want someone to substantiate why. Hey, man, I'm putting in money. I don't mind. I'm okay
How
with
do you
it.
feel about if it's a free beat putting in a 90%, 10% split?
Between 90
But
for
I
the
guess-
artist and
yeah.
10 for me.
No, 90 for you, 10 for the artist. But I think it's much of a nothing, right? Because, you know,
What
it's
do you
only
mean?
when it becomes a big song that you'd want to get
Yeah.
into those discussions.
Nah, yeah, I guess. But
Because the standard split would be 50-50.
the
right?
standard split would be 50-50, but I guess if it all depends. Now you've got two artists on the track and you've got one producer. What do you do
Yeah.
then? It's not 50-50. They want to get their publisher involved. What happens then? You've got a publisher, two artists. The publisher's with the one artist, the other one's tagging along. You've got a music producer.
Yeah.
You throw in a songwriter as well. Now you've got 5 people in the mix. Everybody's got their own whatever.
own thing.
I don't want to get involved in that too much.
That
man.
haggling.
Bro, it gets difficult. Man, I feel like, it becomes, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
So I always tell someone, like, look, let's talk and let's talk quickly. Just tell me what you want.
Let's talk quickly.
Yeah, man, I mean, we are
There's
we're
no
fighting.
money here. We're fighting over non-existent money.
It's non-existent yet, and I just
Oh,
want to
okay.
feel as though, I mean, look, it might come back. I might in 10 years' time go against myself and say, guys, you need to negotiate properly.
Yeah.
I thought I was just getting 10%, and now I'm a sad guy, right? But but I've accounted for that, and just for me, I want peace in my life, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. So that's the free for profit beat.
Yeah,
right?
and the benefit for the artist is obviously you get a free beat. Benefit
Yeah.
for producer is that you get exposure. If that beat blows up, your tag is in the front. People are like, "Yo, who's this?" Okay, cool, got it. Now,
Exactly.
if I've got that, why would I pay for a beat now?
Exclusivity.
Okay, all right, because now
You don't want to be the guy who has the beat that everybody else
else
has.
has
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah. So now you have your non-exclusive, where there's a bit of a price point. So now you can imagine you've got free for profit, you've got, and this is the amount of downloads that you
I
get.
just thought about something right before you
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah.
If somebody blows up on a free for profit beat,
Mm-hmm.
what if I come to you and I say, "Hey, I want that beat," and that person hasn't bought it, and I buy the beat? Do they now have to come through me?
Yeah, well, legally, like if we're talking legalities now, it's all gonna depend on what.
Okay,
the
but yeah, let's
agreement is gonna be,
continue.
yeah.
Maybe let's go through the thing and then I'll ask that question.
Okay. So in terms of your free beats,
Yeah.
the free beats are gonna be downloaded a lot.
Yeah.
Non-exclusive beats are then going to be bought a lot, but not as much as the exclusives.
Yeah.
Exclusives you might find get downloaded once or a very small amount of times. You're paying for the exclusivity.
Yeah.
So in terms of prices, you'll find a basic lease or a non-exclusive lease that says that you can use this beat for one track. You can release that track, you can put it onto radio stations, you can get this many. I don't know why they try and limit the amount of streams and stuff. I don't know why they benefit. I guess it's in terms of trying to limit the non-exclusive or the exclusivity of the beat again. But if it's non-exclusive, then why bother? But they stipulate all of these things, and on places like BeatStars, it's stipulated that you get a version of this contract, this agreement. It's an agreement because you don't have to sign it. It's an agreement that comes to you. So that's non-exclusive, meaning that if I want that beat and you want that beat, we can both go and lease that beat and use it for that specific amount of time. With an exclusive, you might find that for that period of time, now this is where things will get tricky. But you go onto the website, it will state exactly what exclusive means. Exclusive might mean that for this period to this period here, you, the artist who's bought that exclusive lease, is the only person who's able to use the beat. Or you'll find that, there'll be limitations on it, and those limitations will be, I don't know, they might be not as strict as a non-exclusive lease or whatever the case might be. Then you get and now the thing with the leases is you can name it whatever you want. Remember, these are individual stores.
Yeah.
And it's not really it's not what do you call this thing? It's not a franchise, or there's no like a governing body that says that you must call this, you must call that. If I want to call it, if I want to call it a sanitizer lease or whatever it is, I can, because and I'll say the sanitizer lease says that you can do this with it.
So there's no standard terms and whatever.
None. You set
But then
them
what
as the
happens,
person.
right? If like the previous question that I asked you, right? I get a lease. The song starts blowing up, and then a person comes and says, "Yo, I want this exclusively." Does that person now have to come through me? Like, let's say Old Town Road. Because I know. Let's give an example. The Bobby Schmurder beat, Hot Boy. That beat is actually Lloyd Banks' beat. And he said in an interview, the reason he could use it was because Lloyd Banks never paid for the beat.
That must suck. That must really suck.
So what are the legalities around that? Because essentially I could hold your hit ransom, and I could say, yo, you need to cut me in.
But you've bought the hit after the fact.
Yeah, but am I not entitled to the royalties now?
Why? You were never, the person who you bought the copyright from wasn't entitled to the right.
No, let's say somebody gets a beat from you, right? They download it, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they do, right? Aren't you entitled to whatever royalties as the producer? Right?
Based on the conversation that we've had and the agreement that we've set. Yeah.
But now, that term that you signed is limited, right? The exclusive one supersedes that one. Am I correct in saying that?
Supersedes what? A non-exclusive one?
Yes.
Why would you have them have both at the same time?
That's why I'm asking if somebody. So you would control that?
You have to, as the producer, and producers get into trouble because what you've just said now, is very likely.
Yeah.
It happens. It definitely happens because someone will come through, they'll buy non-exclusive. Someone comes through and they're like, I want to buy that beat out. Then what? Now the producer is the person, because the producer is the one who's holding all the licenses, and they have to look at it and say, shit, what do I do now?
So the onus is on them.
The onus is on the producer to now figure out what's going on. What beat was it?
That's wild.
It wasn't Panda, man. What was it? There was a guy from London who made a beat. I'm just trying to remember what the track was. It was a massive song. Was it? Could it have been Panda? I don't know. Anyway.
It might have been. I think Panda was here.
This guy, the beat was bought from him. I don't know why the word menace comes to mind. But anyway, the beat was found on his YouTube.
Yeah.
And the person had actually gone onto YouTube looking for beats that had very low views.
Yeah.
Because they knew that there'd be very low purchases on the beat.
Yeah.
And there might have been previous purchases on the beat, but then now you get an outright buyout of the beat. And now what that effectively means is, at that point, I don't know how they would have written. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I guess no one before that point, because chances are everybody before that point would have bought their beat and used their lease. They've used their lease already.
Yeah.
They're earning their money because now you've got the okay, maybe it works like this. I'm not too sure, but you've got the beat itself, but then you've got the song.
Yeah.
And now everyone's got a different song. The royalties, you're not earning royalties on my beat. You're earning royalties on a particular song. If that makes sense.
I get you.
You get what I'm saying?
But let me throw something else in the mix, right? I've now bought the beat exclusively, right? Your terms have a limited number of plays and things like that, right? Or it's only valid for a year. Now I've got it exclusively, which means I've got it in perpetuity, right?
No.
Really?
A lease doesn't work like that. A lease
No,
should
but if
never
I've
work
got
like
it
that.
exclusive, if I bought it outright, still.
It's a lease. A lease is a lease. A lease is a lease is a lease.
Okay, so the lease
Should it
can
be a buyout, a proper buyout, where
Yeah.
I am transferring my ownership
Yeah.
of the beat to you?
something completely different.
It's something different, totally. Whenever, that's another thing artists don't see. Exclusive lease doesn't mean I own the beat. It's a lease. It's still a lease. And there was an attorney, he's also a producer. Yeah, so he knows. He's like, when people say when people say lease, a lease is over a period. After that period, the lease lapses. And then at that point, everything goes back to normal. They no longer have whatever it is over the beat. The beat now goes back to the
so
artist.
basically, it's like we're in this room.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody gets a non-exclusive lease, meaning that they shouldn't be surprised when there's more than one person living in this room. And then when I get an exclusive lease, it means I'm the only person that's entitled to be in this room.
But now
I
the
still
question
don't
is,
own it.
does the person who's in that room get to kick everybody else out the room?
It's exclusive, so it must, right?
But then what happens to does one contract then supersede the other?
That's what I'm asking you.
Actually, I wanna hold that one because we're gonna bring a guy in. We're gonna bring a guy
Flip
in.
the question on me.
No, that's what I'm saying now, because this is something I've had to deal with as well.
Really?
I have. This is what I'm saying, because now the onus is on me
Yeah.
to now speak. And what I've done
Because
is
that's
I've
what
just
I would do. I would just hang out here. I'd listen to your beats. I'd wait for something to pop off. Then I'd be like, "Hey, Silas, I want that beat." But I don't want a lease. I want to own it, so that I can go to that person and be like, "Hey, man, this is my beat. Cut me
What are
in
you
on the
doing? You have
check,
to
or
cut me
else
in." Yeah.
I'm gonna tell Spotify to take you down."
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I don't know if it's that easy. I don't think it's
I say that
easy.
because I've seen somebody do it.
Buy a beat after the track blows
Yeah.
up and then go after the person saying this
They
is
say,
my beat.
"Listen, I don't want to take this off Spotify, but this is technically my beat now.
Yo,
so
that's-
cut me into the
That's
deal."
ugly, man.
It is.
That's ugly.
It is.
Let's bring in an attorney. We're gonna bring in an attorney.
If that attorney says that's legal, I'm doing it.
No, I want to bring. I
I'm
want
gonna
to
listen to all your beats and I'll be like,
You're gonna go back and be like. But now also for me, I'm also.
"You're
I'm,
at risk, boy."
I'm at risk because now I now need to say yes. So if there's a track for whatever song it is by Black Les, say, and you hear it in my catalog, you're like, "Hey man, I want to buy that beat." The onus is on me to now go back and remember or go through my records, and my records should say this track has been used by. And then from there, I'm then able to say, look, so and so used it, 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 but this person, this big artist has used it as well. I am not going to.
and make that decision.
I make the decision myself because I know. And it's the same thing now, even when I'm handing out packs. And this is a big thing that happens as well, where a producer will hand out the same pack to 4 or 5 people. And one person wants it, and another big artist wants the very same beat. What do you do then? And I've seen producers get into trouble for this. It actually happened. It happened with Blacklist not too long ago.
Really?
Yes, there was a song that we were supposed to work on, and they're like, "We can no longer use the beat. It's been given to someone else." And I was like, "Oh man, that must suck for that other producer," because artists do sit on beats.
Yeah.
They sit on them for a long time, especially if they've just been handed to them for free. But, shoo. No, dude. I think we just bring an attorney in. We bring an attorney in and we get them to finish this
give
one
the
up.
final verdict.
Yeah, to give because now there's so many angles. For me, that there's an angle of just being a smart person, being smart about it, and just protecting myself. I wouldn't want that smoke. If someone comes up to me and they're like, "Yo, man, I heard that because now you've heard it blow up on radio," I'm already shutting up shop on that beat. No one's touching that beat. I'm gonna allow you to come through and ruin my whole move.
It's an idea.
It could work, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Do we have any more topics?
Yo, dude, we've hashed out a lot.
Yeah.
And it's dope because we'll be able to chop it all up and put it all out.
Yeah, I think we can't solve all the world's problems in one podcast
yeah.
episode. So I
In
think
one day.
let's leave it there.
Yeah.
That was a Hip Hop Galaxy podcast. Looking forward to doing many more of these. So please like, comment, and subscribe. That helps out with the algorithm and all that fun stuff. Anyways, it's me, Wishle Banks, and Silas Beats, and we out.